Show and Success with Laura, with our host, Laura Ribbons. Laura, how are you? And we continue to dive deeper into working with CEOs and your expertise of teaching people with busy schedules, celebrities, entrepreneurs, CEOs, how to stay healthy and stay in shape. How are you, Laura?
I'm fabulous.
Our topic today is CEOs no excuse rule. Fitness is a business strategy. So let's talk about this, Laura. That you're in your belief system, there should be no excuses for CEOs to get healthy, right?
Ironically, they're really good at being consistent with work and their productivity, getting out there, sort of like their machine is a well-oiled machine moving forward. The question is, wouldn't it be amazing if we can shift their mindset so they're doing the exact same process, but with their own health?
All right, and that's huge because you talk about shifting the mindset. And how do you tell somebody who works, like giving an example, there are some entrepreneurs wake up 2 o'clock in the morning and they work at their desk all the way till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which is very strange because the hours and the sun and different things like that are really strange hours, work all night and they're constantly sitting. And now you're going to tell them to get healthy.
Well, considering sitting is the new smoking, and it's so detrimental, 6 hours or more, but increased your risk of heart disease by 63%. But the lack of movement is what's extremely detrimental to our health. And if they could come up, we could give them a strategy, just like they have their strategy for business, their business operations, how it's run, a strategy for their own health and how they're, because our health does need a strategy. It's non-negotiable.
Okay. Let's talk about what you need to do to get that strategy going.
First of all, as we said twice, the word mindset. So Neil, with mindset, so often it's I don't have any time. I am seriously busy. I don't have time for that right now. So there's never a me before their business. And unfortunately, what happens is down the road, when there is a health issue, that's when the reality hits. Oh my gosh, if I only back there has started taking baby steps towards helping myself. And so we really have to focus on how do we take the no time and just why not stop for a second and take an audit of your body, of your own health? Where are you? Have you done any baseline testing as far as blood work and so forth? Oh, I don't have time. Okay. Um, you can ask those questions. They don't have time to even go to the doctor. But if they could just start implementing baby steps in movement and baby steps in maybe looking at their nutrition and baby steps in just taking a moment to work with their mindset, then they would find these baby steps would turn into something consistent. And it's all about prioritizing. I mean, you have to prioritize. You have to basically say that fitness, I have work, my CEO business, that business I'm working on, and I have my health. And it's non-negotiable. It's part of your daily plan. And so by doing that self audit, you can really start to have a look at yourself. How many, with simple questions, how many hours a day are you sitting down? Just like you said, Neil, when does your day start? When does that thinking with work have to start? Well, if they're up at 4:30 in the morning working, just if they just went and moved around the house for 10 minutes before that 4:30 sit down, they'd be more productive to begin with.
When we talk about, once you get that audit, it kind of can become discouraging because as entrepreneurs, we don't like to lose. I don't like losing. I don't like losing, and I don't like hearing. And I think a lot of times we use our entrepreneurship CEO tough work as that is our life. Everything else around us, no, get out of the way. This is our life. And we forget about health. Health takes a back seat. That happened to me until 2021. And now health is a very, very important thing to me to going gluten free, to potential, not eating as much, exercising every day, doing yoga, trying to sleep 8 hours a day, all of those things. But I needed somebody to hit me on the head to even consider it.
Or you have an issue, health issue that scares the daylights out of you. And that it's never going to happen to me. And then when it happens to you, it's like, what? How come no one told me? Well, everyone's been telling you. It depends on when you need to listen. And the no excuse rule, your fitness is just like running your business. And if we can be consistent with just one thing, and Neil, that's the beginning. The no time, just do one baby step. Get up every 45 minutes, walk around your desk 5 times. That is a lot for somebody. For someone like yourself who's been down this great health journey right now, if I said walk around your desk 5 times, you're like, well, really? Why don't I walk? Why don't I just walk down the driveway and come back? Because that's easy. You know that now. Where at the beginning, if you're going from sedentary, like being on the couch, you're going to decrease your risk of heart disease by about 50%. So do your self audit. Are you sedentary? Are you moving most of the day? Are you sitting down most of the day? Are you drinking adequate water? Are you hydrating your brain besides your organs? Are what does your nutrition look like? And there's no judgment here. Like when I work with CEOs, there's no judgment. It's here's where you are. So let me ask you some questions. Here's where you are right now. There's an audit, a health fitness audit. I'm not going to do your business audit. I'll let someone else do that. But how did you get where you are today? Because you were consistent with your business. You talked to the right people. You showed up at the right places. You did what you need to do for business as a CEO or growing entrepreneur. But it takes consistency every single day and for you to show up. Same way you have to show up for yourself with your health, because your health is your wealth. So number one, to have it as no excuse, is non-negotiable. If you could that's a gift we could give ourselves. If every day we could wake up and go, okay, it's me before we. It's me before anything else. What can I do? Because I can't show up and give 100% to my team if I'm not showing up the best I can be. And what is that going to look like? Healthier. And it might be, and get your team around you. I'm starting a health journey. Come on, guys, let's go. And especially with those CEOs working with the team, or maybe they're disconnected from the team, up here working hard, but how are they showing up? And you know very well, we walk into an office of a strong, very successful entrepreneur or and CEO of a company or whatever, and how their desk looks, how they present themselves. I don't really care what they're wearing, but how they present themselves, how they stick that hand out there and shake your hand strong, all those tiny little pieces is how they present themselves. Well, why not present ourselves healthy? And people pick up on that energy, don't you think?
Totally. And you have the energy to keep going when you're exercising, when you're feeling good about yourself, because exercise is the best way to do that. And I guess the biggest challenge is that you are able to identify these things, Laura, like you're like a whisperer, right? You go and meet an entrepreneur and you could tell what they're lacking and what they need right when you meet them.
And I think, Neil, it's more than that. It's giving by finding out how their blueprint is, because everyone's blueprint is different, and not just your health statistically, what's happening in your body, but more about what you feel is happening in your body. Because I'm a firm believer that our health has a lot to do with our emotions, our contentment, and how we're fueling our body. So if you look at okay, what zero excuse? Okay, well, there is no excuse. Someone in the entrepreneur business, depending on how high that goes, doesn't matter. They could be in their car a lot. They could be traveling for business. They could be on an airplane. They could just be in their office. There's always zero excuse strategies. So number one, everyone is on a phone, so why not every time the phone rings, you get up and stand up and walk around while you're talking? What's interesting about that alone, the whole science of movement and what it does for you cognitively, if you get up and move, walk while you're talking, you're going to, number one, be more focused. You're going to be more spot on, and you'll be able to be targeted more on what you're trying to accomplish with that phone call. And if anyone listening to this reflects back, it's true. You hear you're on a phone, you hear yourself thinking, you hear them thinking, and you're more protective. So walking around, talking. Number two, give yourself micro workouts There's nothing wrong with you putting your hands up against the wall and doing a couple push-ups or leaning, make it harder, lean down on your desk. There's nothing wrong with just leaning over the back of your chair and stretching out the back of your legs. And, put hands on a chair, you lean forward, stick your bum out behind you, stretch out the back of your legs, your shoulders, take big breaths, some box breathing, which is amazing breathing technique. Think about it, Neil. They don't teach kids how to breathe.
Right.
The box technique is so simple. Think of a box. You inhale for 3 seconds. You hold your breath. Hold that inhale for 3 seconds. Exhale 3 seconds, and hold that exhale 3 seconds. Just a couple box breathings, get someone's mind down. Have a standing desk. Great. If you have a standing desk, they're not expensive anymore. I just put books on top of mine, put my computer up. I can be walking while I'm talking. I can be doing calf raises. I can stretch. And also pre-thinking energy, nutrient dense snacks and just plan ahead. You've already planned your business day. I'm willing to bet 99% of the CEOs we know and talk to and the entrepreneurs, they've already planned out their day. They know when their meetings are. Well, for heaven's sakes, plan out your nutrition. Pick energy boosting foods. And we have a whole list of energy zappers, which are great for what can I pack for a snack today. And then last but not least, and I'm sure there's 10 more items, sleep. Super important. And how you go to sleep. Can you get rid of the blue light? Can you get rid of TV at least for an hour before you decide to sleep? A flashlight or a headlamp reading a book is going to be better for you. And Neil, recovery. We have to give ourselves permission to recover, and that doesn't necessarily mean sleep. It means maybe on a Sunday night, just sitting for 15 minutes and just writing down, processing, okay, what went well last week and what's going to go well for me this week? What am I going to look forward to? Because when we sit down and process pen to paper, you use 6 more parts of your brain. So, yeah, so sitting in the desk, working, pen and paper is going to be a lot more effective for what we're working on and being creative and cognitive. So, there really is no excuse. And to be a good leader, if you're trying to have leadership strategy as a CEO, for heaven's sakes, you've got to walk the talk.
Exactly. You got to show all those different areas, and those areas are, Laura.
Totally. And walking the talk, what does it look like? And maybe that's what part of the audit is you say, okay, how do you want to show up? How do you want to walk the talk? And make the time. How would you feel? This is an interesting question. So as the secretary or part of the team at the desk, when your boss comes out the door and says, hey, I'll be back in an hour, I'm just quickly going to the gym. Or I'll be back in a half hour, I'm just going to do a quick walk around the block while I'm on some phone calls. Is that the norm? No, it's going to be. But right now, people aren't used to that. And so it's real easy to be thinking, you know what? I don't know, maybe they're going to think I'm weird if I do this. Don't even worry about it. You are your priority. It is the me before the we. And we're so, especially for female entrepreneurs and female CEOs, they're really good at putting everything else first before themselves. So it's going to be super important that as CEOs, no excuse rule, that fitness is a non-negotiable part of good business, then you just got to start somewhere. And baby steps are key.
Laura, such great information. How can people book a call with you? Where can they go?
Oh, super easy. Successwithlaura.com. And not only are there numerous resources there to help people, free resources, but also a link to connect. And then what's really magic, and I think that I do a little bit differently as a fitness expert, is ask questions. So on that introductory call, find out where they're coming from and how can we put together their personal journey.
All right. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Hay